Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. Today we are going to be talking about how you're leveling up in 2025, good changes and blessings happening for you in this new year. We are going to be getting into all of it, and today we have a selection of crystals for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Basically, you're going to see which of these crystals is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it, and then as soon as you make up your mind, to scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. If you would like to see more of my content, by the way, you can head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted readings all about your next relationship, and it should be up by now. There's a year in 2025 in review, as well as one about when you will be achieving your dreams or your big goals, when that's going to be happening for you. But there is so much content to choose from. Like I said, over 100 readings you'll only find over on Patreon, and then you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos way early over there. If that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, channeling, mediumship, astrology, or a combination, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live. You get to really customize your session, so it's the perfect time for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website and book a slot with me, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So that's about all I have to say, guys. If you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey, pile one, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Seven of Cups, the Three of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Five of Pentacles. So one of the themes for 2025 is you guys coming out of your shell. If this has been a time of suffering for you, if you have been going through it for the past few years, we can see the Three of Swords, the Five of Pentacles. Maybe some of you guys have been broke. This is an energy where you are going to start to get major blessings. And part of the way you're going to be getting blessings is that you're going to be giving less time to your anxieties, your worries, imagining negative scenarios, and you're really going to control your mind and realize your own power. This is also about you getting bold enough to put yourself out there and to be your most true, honest, deepest, authentic self, whether that's in relationships, whether that's out in the public domain in some way, like you really want to launch a TikTok or a YouTube, but you've been too scared, or you want to write a book and publish it, or you want to take more of a leadership role at your job. You're not going to hide away in the shadows anymore. This is about you being center stage. So this could be a great year for you to launch a project, get some attention. I feel like a big message Spirit is saying is that you're no longer going to be allowing the worst case scenario to play in your mind. You're no longer going to be letting yourself, go off the train tracks about like, oh, this could go wrong, that could go wrong, what if that happens? And instead, I feel like you are kind of just trusting the process and understanding that anything that happens has the potential to alchemize your life and to be amazing. One of my favorite quotes that I just heard, it was like Ina Garten, and she was doing an interview with Oprah, and she said her husband, one of his favorite quotes is, "You never know whether it's a good break or a bad break until later." Meaning you never know whether an event is positive or negative until later. And sometimes something can seem positive, but it's negative. But at the same time, when I think to my life, I think that's so true. Like so many things that I thought were negative ended up like taking me 10 steps ahead or getting me exactly what I wanted, even when I didn't know what I wanted, even if I didn't know at the time I wanted that. And I think that's so true for all of us. A lot of times those things that may seem negative in the moment end up long-term benefiting us. So with that being said, there's no need to worry. There's no need to be panicked. And I feel like that's an energy you're really leaving behind. Maybe you've been an overthinker. Maybe you've been someone that sometimes you let those anxieties play on your mind and you kind of allow them to you allow them free reign to run free in your mind and just to like take over And there is that message that like allowing your thoughts to do that is a choice. And there's also the choice to think positive, to think of all the ways this could go right, or to just fall into that energy of trust, acceptance, accepting where you're at right now, and then doing everything in your power to alchemize it, to improve the situation in whatever way, and to manage this situation the best you can. But there's no benefit to like energy that you spend wishing something was different, or oh, I should have done that, or that's really bad, or oh my god, what if that happens, you know? And I feel like that's an energy you're really leaving behind. Any anxiety, any doubts, any panic, you're really raising your vibration in 2025. And I feel like people are going to be able to sense that and feel that. You may come across more positive, more uplifting. People may really be drawn to your energy. If you have a bunch of strangers, like maybe you're the kind of person that you could be minding your business in a coffee shop, sitting in the corner alone, and you notice there's like all the open tables, but someone always has to sit right next to you. That may be because you're high vibrational, and people can be able to pick up on that even when they don't know you. So I feel like more and more you're going to be attracting people because they're like, wow, there's something positive about this person. There's something powerful about their energy. There's something that they're going to be drawn to with you. And a lot of that is you seeing the possibility and you being more positive about it, and no longer, like I said, allowing any worst case scenario to play on your mind. I also feel like you're going to be really intentional with your thoughts, maybe with your vision boards, your manifestations. And when you make the vision boards and manifestations this year, they're going to be powerful. They're going to come true because you are doing it with such intention and such trust, and you really believe it. You're no longer doing a manifestation, but the whole time you're doubting, or you're questioning, or you're thinking, oh, I don't know if this is right, or I don't know if this is legitimate. So some of you guys may have felt drawn to listen to manifestation videos, or you know, what is it, those subliminals, and listening to high vibrational music, anything like that. I feel like you are really raising your vibration, and it's almost like you're making the choice to leave behind dysfunction as well. If some of you guys have been hung up on an ex, if you have been stuck in a dysfunctional family system, if you have been in a toxic workplace, you may be leaving those situations behind. I feel like your energy is going to be raised so high, and you're no longer in alignment with anything that takes you out of that, or anything that, you know, makes you feel sad, panicked, stressed. You're starting to just be like, I'm going to be very intentional about who and what I allow access to my energy, and who and what I allow into my life. And I feel like you're going to be attracting more better people, and also maybe cutting certain situations off that don't benefit you. Let me get into these cards for you. Pile number 1. So we want to see what good news is happening. Ooh, that just flew all the way across. Oh, come together. So this could be new love for some of you guys. This could be a beautiful new relationship. Like I said, with the Three of Swords, if some of you guys have been hung up on an ex, or you've had someone that really hurt your feelings and you continuously think of them, or you're still energetically attached to them, I feel like you guys are putting up those boundaries really strong. With Ghostlands, I feel like you're making the intentional choice. It's almost like you now you know what you want to manifest. Now you know what you like and what you don't like, which is such an important part of manifestation, is just figuring out, I really like this energy. This feels good to me, and this doesn't feel so good. And again, that's another way you can take any negative situation that's bothering you, stressing you out, and realize, oh, I don't need to put up with this. This is just like data for me. This is just information telling me, oh, I don't like this feeling. I don't like feeling broke, or I don't like feeling like, oh, is he going to text me back? He's being really weird and I haven't heard from him in a day. Like, that's not energy you have to tolerate. And in a world with endless abundance, you get to choose what you allow into your life or not. So you don't have to sign up for that toxic job that doesn't pay well. You don't have to tolerate the relationship with the person that doesn't really put you first and ghosts you, or doesn't text you, or is cagey or weird, or doesn't want to commit. You can choose to not settle for anything like that, and only allow into your life those people that are going to treat you with such high respect, and those relationships, those jobs, those interactions where you are honored, your time is honored. I feel like this is an energy of you really like really seizing on your dignity, really choosing your dignity and respecting yourself. Anything in the past where you used to, I don't know, doubt, second guess your intuition, I feel like that's also leaving as well. And yeah, this is a beautiful energy to attract deep love, to attract the kind of relationship that resonates with you. This could also be you guys kind of developing more of a backbone, I want to say, and learning to speak up for, learning to say what you want. So if in the past someone was ghosting you, not texting you, not calling you, maybe you would just be like, oh, well, whatever. I'm just gonna, I hope he calls me. I don't want to say anything. Now you might be like, let me call this man up and tell him, listen, you can't call me and text me, then don't call me ever again, lose my number. You know what I mean? And you're going to become very direct and you're going to become able to communicate what you want. Or in that job where they're like, right, so we don't really do a lunch break. I mean, technically you have to sign out, but no one really does that. And, we all just work through lunch. That's just how the office runs. And you just say, oh, no, not me. So I'm going to be definitely taking that lunch break. And yeah, I'm going to need all my vacation time too. Thank you. I'll be leaving at 5 p.m. I feel like you're going to become more assertive. And anyone that's trying to play you, anyone that's trying to use your energy or second guess you or make you second guess yourself, you are just no longer in alignment with that. This is like you taking your power back. And I feel like that is going to allow you to align with the most incredible relationships, with the most incredible jobs. Yeah, like I always mention that where, I have friends who work for some really big companies, like amazing companies. And it's so funny because their standards are so high. Like they expect that like there will be a really nice holiday party and that they'll get, flown first class on trips. I was just reading this book about Meghan Markle and it's interesting. This just popped into my mind. But the person who wrote it was talking about how like when she was she wasn't unknown, I guess she was on that show Suits, but she wasn't like, obviously she's kind of a first name basis. Like everyone knows her. She's a household name now, but she wasn't at all that famous back before she had gotten with Harry. And so her agent or whatever was booking her on these like business things and she was really kind of hustling trying to get different jobs, and they said that she would always insist on like flying first or business class even when it blew out the budget. And of course it was written as like a very negative thing, like, oh my gosh, she's so entitled, which is maybe true. I mean, I don't really want to weigh in on the whole thing. I don't really know enough. I wish there was more access. Like, I feel like Meghan and Harry have been kind of secretive over the past few years. And I'm like, I just want to know more of what the heck was going on. But the point is, now that I think about it, it's like, but that's probably how she attracted a prince, right? Because someone was like, oh, we'll just fly you economy. And she was like, oh, absolutely not. Even if she wasn't at the point she is now, even if she didn't have millions of dollars, she was like, I will be flying first class. And as much as people can say, oh, she's so entitled and she's so spoiled. And again, I'm not trying to weigh in on that. I really don't know enough about them or Meghan, or I don't know her. But my point is that, that is a mentality that allows you to attract the best. When you're like, well, then I'm not doing it if it's economy. And that's what I'm saying is like people will talk about, oh my gosh, the people who work for Facebook are so entitled. They were mad because they took away like their break room that had the free juices. But it's like, yeah, and that's probably why they have a job for Facebook making like 500,000 a year, like that's why they got those jobs. It's because that's their mentality, is like, of course I deserve the juice bar. Of course I deserve free snacks. You know what I mean? And I think that's something we can all kind of try to internalize, is like realizing that you do deserve the best, realizing like, well, I'm not going to show up if you don't have it the way I want. And again, I know there can be an energy there that is like entitled and negative, or mean or aggressive towards someone else. And I'm not saying you should do that, but there's nothing bad about knowing your own worth and being like, either you bring this to the table or I'm not showing up. And I feel like that's the energy you guys are bringing into 2025. Like if someone isn't coming correct in any way, you're not interested and you're not tolerating it. And I feel like that is going to really change things for you. That's going to lead to so many blessings, maybe more money, maybe better love life, maybe the kind of relationship you've always dreamed of where you get treated like a princess. because I think so much of life is also like just not settling, you know, like not turning down those offers, you know, making sure like you're not accepting when someone lowballs you, you know. And when I look back at like the worst decisions I've made, I feel like they're all times when I was like, yeah, that's kind of a janky situation, but sure, I'll go. Or yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know. The place isn't really that nice, but like, yeah. And it's so funny because those are the people also who will disrespect you the most, because deep down inside, they know that you're like a higher caliber than whatever they're offering, and they resent that. They are not going to be happy about it. They're not going to tolerate it, because it's almost like, for example, going back to that Megan metaphor, and again, I'm not trying to pick sides. I feel like there's so much intense discourse around Meghan Markle. But I feel like in a way, if you're upset that Meghan Markle blew out your budget because she insisted on flying first class, then maybe you don't have that high of a budget. You know what I mean? If that ticket change is going to completely ruin the budget, then maybe things were a little tight. And I mean, at the same time, you might have to, that might be why you're upset that she demanded first class, because it's like, wait, we can't afford that. And it shines a light on you. And when I think of every time that I've been treated the worst, it's when I was like, ooh, yeah, I don't think this is the best, but I guess I'll go anyway. Or sure, I'll take that job, even though it's janky, or even though it's kind of a like rundown office and it's not really operated very well, but okay, whatever. Or yeah, I will, you know, hang out with this person, even though I don't really like them. And there's always almost like a chip on their shoulder energy that you pick up from that person, right? Where they know dang well that you're kind of silently judging and they're not even appreciative of you being there. Like, again, reading that book about Meghan Markle, I was like, wow, a lot of the people who worked with her really hated her. And I think some of that is because she was like, oh, this isn't first class. Or she would say, like, I don't like the lighting here, or this is a really janky camera system. And apparently she was very verbal and communicative about that. But at the same time, is that her fault if she's used to a higher standard? And you know what I mean? That's how she attracted a prince. I mean, it just is what it is, whether you like her or not, because she had that attitude, because she was like, I deserve the best. That's how she got one of the most eligible bachelors. So, again, I'm not trying to weigh in on the Meghan Markle drama because I know people feel so strongly in either direction. But I just feel like if we can start, instead of hating on those people, like, oh my God, you're so entitled, it's like, well, why am I not entitled? Why do I think I deserve less? Why have I internalized this idea that I'll just tolerate this BS? I'll just tolerate the nonsense. I'll just tolerate, you know, second class behavior towards me being treated like I'm not as worthy. That's what's crazy, because if someone can't value you in the first place, then they really don't deserve to be in your life. And I feel like that's what you guys are realizing. That's what's changing for you. And if someone can't come correct for you, you're no longer going to be showing up, to be honest. You're realizing how valuable your energy is. Let's see what other cards we're going to get for pile one. Okay, so we got listening. And let me get one more. Follow the leader. Okay. And I do feel like you guys are stepping into that role of leader. You are willing to take on that mantle of responsibility and power in a way that I don't think you were in the past. Maybe in the past you would shy away from like, oh, this is expected from me, or I don't want the limelight. I don't want center stage. I don't want people looking at me. Now you're like, hey, I will take it all, you know, and I'm okay with stepping into my power, because it's like with that famous line, with great power comes great responsibility. Sometimes I think that's what's scary about it too. Like it's almost like I don't want to be looked at, because then I don't know, people are going to expect something of me, or I don't want to be the one in control. I don't want to be the one in power. But I feel like you guys are becoming more and more okay with that and realizing that your voice is so useful. And it's funny, again, I'm thinking of the people I know in my life who have like accomplished crazy things, like become really, really successful. And what's funny about it is almost every single one, and I don't mean to be mean to those people, because like, I feel like this is going to sound really shady. Maybe it's my Mercury squaring my Pluto that just comes out with crazy stuff. But I do feel at 0 degrees it's squaring it. But I do feel like some of the people I know who have like accomplished insane stuff, like been on Forbes magazine and stuff, I feel like what's crazy about that is they, and I'm not trying to be harsh, don't come off when you meet them as like super smart. Or you wouldn't meet them and think, oh my God, this person's a star. Oh my God, this person's amazing. Or wow, this person should go into business. They're going to be so successful. Or this person should go into government and they will be amazing. Oh my God, they deserve that. A lot of times, the people I know who have really accomplished crazy stuff, they're kind of like a regular schmegular person. And again, what's different about them is that they believe it. They're okay with that responsibility. They're okay with that power. They're not second guessing themselves and being like, well, I don't know if I should take this position. I don't know if I should take this role. I'll just stay in the shot. They're like, of course I deserve it. Of course I deserve the power. And I have this idea and I'm going to go for it. And I want to try this and I'm going to do it. And instead of second guessing themselves, they just have that boldness and that optimism. And that's what makes them a success. Again, I'm not trying to hate on these people because it's like good for them. I feel like it's like if everyone could have a dollop of that self-confidence, the world would be a better place because we'd all be living our destinies instead of staying in the shadows because we're too afraid. We're too afraid of failure or we don't think we could do it. And that's the thing, is so much of whether you can do it or not is whether you believe it. And I feel like that's what you guys are realizing. Like, you don't have time to waste anymore. Life is short. Let me go for it. Let me try. Let me go after what I want, and let me not hold myself back anymore. And also you're realizing how capable you are. If there's anything that you're facing that you've been doubting yourself, you've been wondering, can I do this? I don't know. Like maybe you've had a lot of anxiety about some kind of life change. That's also ending. I feel like you're starting to just realize like, I got this. I'm really smart. I'm capable. I can do this. It's totally within my power. And I feel like that's creating a sea change as well, where you're realizing how in control you are with your life and that you can do whatever you put your mind to and you're never trapped. I think that's one of the worst, most disempowering feelings is when you feel like trapped, like, oh my God, I have to put up with this, or oh, I'm just stuck in this job, or I'm stuck in this relationship. And you're realizing you're not stuck at all. Like you have every day the choice to change your position, change your situation. Life can change in a dime. Life can change in a second, in an hour, in a day. Your life can be totally, totally different. In a year, people can change their entire lives, turn everything around. And so I feel like you're realizing your own agency and power. And that's really what's coming through is like 2025 is going to be a powerful change year for you because you are no longer sitting around and tolerating any bad behavior, any disrespect, anyone who doesn't treat you how you deserve. And I also feel like with that listening card, you're learning to listen to your intuition. And that's one of a big changes. Like I feel like for me, once I started listening to my intuition, that changed so much. I'm thinking of like, I remember there was this girl who really wanted to be friends with me, and she was really nice and friendly. And I just had the strongest feeling like, don't be friends with her. Like, just don't be friends with her. And it just kept coming back to me. Like, every time we'd hang out, I'd get this anxiety. And she really wanted to hang out all the time. She really wanted to be close. But there was something in me that just said, like, no, just don't, just don't. And even though nothing ever happened, because I just kind of separated myself from her, I was just like, no, I can't hang out, whatever. But even though nothing happened with that, and it wasn't like I got some confirmation of like, oh, she was talking behind your back or anything like that. So nothing bad happened. But honestly, I feel so at peace with that decision. Like I felt like that was me powerfully moving ahead because in the past, if someone wanted access to my energy, if someone was just friendly to me, I would just be like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. And I realized I don't have to um just be friends with someone just because they really like me. I get to have a say in things. And again, it's not even about anything bad might happen or whatever. It's about listening to yourself and just giving yourself that permission. That's like, maybe even sometimes I will get it wrong. Maybe there's times when I do miss out on a friendship or miss out on an opportunity. But if you listen to your heart and you listen to your voice, I honestly think you will always be protected. And nothing happened with that. But honestly, I feel like that was a blessing because I just had the most ominous feeling when I was around her and I just couldn't shake it off. And so, yeah, nothing happened, but I'm like, I'm really glad that I didn't go against that. Let me get into some message cards for you. Pile number 1. Let's see what messages we have for pile 1 for 2025. So we got deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. So there is healing happening, and I definitely feel that. Like, you're getting physically stronger. You may be getting more rest this year. You may be getting better sleep. And again, I feel like also it's about putting up boundaries. You're going to start to learn to advocate for yourself. Like, if there's been things that have been preventing you from getting sleep, maybe you have a partner and that partner like snores or something, and you have to tell them, like, you cannot sleep next to me anymore. You need to sleep on the couch, or you need to sleep in another room until you can figure out this snoring thing. Sorry, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're no longer putting yourself on the back burner. You're really getting tough about it. You're really getting strong, and you're willing to speak up for yourself. Like, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but at the same time, I need my sleep. I need my rest. And I'm not putting myself on the back burner and letting myself toss and turn in the night, for hours on end because you want to sleep in the same bed. Instead, I'm going to tell you, I need my own space then. If you can't stop snoring, which I know you probably can't control it, I guess, although I think there's other things you can do, then, you got to bounce. You got to go into the other room. Sorry. Oh, well, and deal with it. Like, okay, but I mean, you can't be keeping me up half the night and then my sleep is horrible and my health is run down. That's not fair to me. And I feel like you're willing now to have those difficult discussions, and a lot of this is about you putting up your boundaries and you saying, I'm not going to tolerate this. I'm not putting myself on the back burner anymore. I'm not giving myself this category of like second class citizen that just tolerates whatever BS gets directed at me. Let's also get into this card. It says karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. Okay, so this could also be learning not to tolerate karmic relationships or learning to take karmic relationships for what they are. I personally don't think karmic relationships are always bad if you keep them in the frame of mind. If you keep them as like, okay, this is an opportunity for growth, Like, if I have a really intense connection with this person and um maybe it's not all sunshine and roses all the time. Maybe I'm not supposed to marry them, but maybe I can take whatever I learn out of this relationship. Sometimes those relationships come in to trigger you, to push you. And a lot of it is pushing you into your own authority so that you don't have to say, oh, I'm just stuck in this relationship and I can't get out of it. But you realize your own autonomy, that you don't have to put up with that relationship, or I don't have to be tied to someone from my past that I feel this deep connection to, an ex that I feel connected to on the astral plane. And that's totally true. It's not to take away from that. You could be very connected to them on the astral plane. But if they're not adding value to your life on a daily basis, if you're not waking up next to them and they're putting a smile on your face and they're bringing you roses and they're adding to your life in some way, then what are we doing here? And I think some of you guys are going to become more transactional in relationships, at your job, at everything. Like, what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? What value are you bringing into my life? And anything that's making me feel run down. Obviously, there's some situations where you're just going to be run down. Like, if you have kids, you can't ask your kids, what have you done for me lately? Because that's different. That's a different dynamic. Like, a child doesn't owe anything to the parents. The parents have to take care of the child. But everything else is like negotiable. And everything else, I honestly think you have to understand, like, of course, you can still complain, but you also have to say, what is my part in this? What have I tolerated? What have I allowed to be stagnant around me, even though it's not really making me feel that good? And I feel like that's what's pivoting, is like, there's no more, okay, let me just put a smile on and tolerate this. And now it's about, I'm going to take my power back. So we also got Star Family. You're part of a team of souls. Call in support. So also that reminder, you can call in support whenever you need to or want to. So you can ask your angels, your guides, your team on the other side, your ancestors, to come in and help you to deal with this, to come in and take care of things. And trust me, they will. They're happy to like help you deal with this and to clear out the old and to purge the bad behavior. So if you're like, I feel really stuck, or I don't know what to do, or I just feel really awful, that's when your guides are happy to like intervene and do something about it and address it. So yeah, I feel like you're really finding your identity. There's so much growth happening for you in 2025, and you're leveling up. You're not anymore tolerating someone who doesn't see your value, someone who doesn't respect you, someone who isn't super grateful and happy to have you in your life, that is being cut out, and you are becoming much more assertive, much more capable of standing up for yourself. And this is going to be an amazing year for you guys. So that is what I have for you. Pile number 1. I really hope that helps, guys. And if you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about your next relationship, and I'm going to be posting one. It's probably already up by the time this video goes up, and that's going to be about when you will find success, also a 2024 year in review. So if any of those topics sounds good to you, or you want to be the first to watch my YouTube videos, because they do get posted over there way early, then be sure to check out my Patreon, and the link for that is underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description. I would love to see you there. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, a combination, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, you get to really customize your time with me. So it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thanks for watching, guys. By the way, it always helps when you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a little comment. That always helps with the algorithm. If you've watched this long, thank you very much. But thanks for watching. I am sending you all my love. I will see you in the next reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Ace of Cups, the 10 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, and the Death card. So with the Ace of Cups, that could be a beautiful new relationship. For some of you guys, it could even be a new child or a new creative project. So the Ace of Cups could be someone that just means a lot to you. You feel a deep connection with, or you just feel impelled, like emotionally drawn to doing something, like I have to write this book or I have to move here. But usually the Ace of Cups is an incredible new blessing. It's a very positive card to get. One thing I think you guys are really changing in 2024 is you are going to be having more fun. You're going to make more time for that. I feel like you're no longer doing this 10 of Wands thing. The 10 of Wands actually came out reversed, but I'm not doing reversals for these readings. So I feel like you are rejecting this energy of the 10 of Wands, where you are overworking yourself, you're carrying all these burdens, and maybe you're signing up for things that you don't really want to do, and you're starting to learn to say no and really be proactive. I feel like in making time in your life for fun, maybe you're just giving yourself permission to relax, to enjoy, to pause a little bit more. And by the way, the 4 of Wands is also a marriage card, so some of you guys could be getting married this year. Yeah, combined with the Ace of Cups, it could definitely be a relationship that leads to marriage, a marriage and then a baby, or vice versa, whatever. But I feel like there is some kind of major relationship thing happening for a lot of you guys. And I also feel like you're really making the choice. Some of you guys are also, especially for my girls, you guys are stepping more into your feminine energy and learning to receive. And you're not feeling like you have to perform and do so much. You're learning to like accept the good. Maybe you have changed your expectation with relationships. Like if you've been single for a while and you're always feeling like, oh, I just can't find a good partner, or, you know, I don't know, I just don't get treated right. I feel like that is starting to change, and you are changing your mindset to one of abundance, and you're starting to really be able to like take that level of love and realize what you deserve and realize you deserve the good things. So this could be a year, I feel like some of you guys are going to attract a situation in which you're going to be pampered and taken care of and looked after. Like if you felt like you have been working and it's been hard, this is about kind of learning that you don't have to do it all by yourself, and that you can let someone else in, and that you don't have to be so tough and closed off, you know. And maybe learning, I feel like for some of you guys, there's going to be changes happening this year that are so big that like you could never even have imagined them. Like if someone had told you 5 years ago, oh, you're going to be in this situation, you would have been like, oh, never, 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 never. Or, you know, maybe you have like a beautiful relationship and you were single for so long and you just thought, oh, I'm just going to be single for life. And now you find yourself just like madly in love and you're super attracted to your partner and you're just so happy. And you're like, what the heck? Like, this is like, I feel like I'm living a book. Or maybe you move somewhere to some city that you always wanted to live in. Like, maybe you always wanted to live in Paris and you end up moving to Paris and being like, how is this my life? Like, this is crazy. I feel like I'm living in a movie, or I feel like I'm living in a TV show. I feel like this is just like, this year is going to be really good for you guys. And a lot of it is, I feel like you're almost coming in with a softer energy, just expecting the best. In the past, I feel like some of you guys felt like you had to perform so much, like you had to do, like you had to be good enough, like you had to hustle and like earn your value. And I feel like that's really changing, and you're starting to learn that you just have this innate value. You are special. You deserve the best. You deserve happiness. You deserve joy. And anything that is not treating you that way is going to fall out of alignment with you anyway. It's not going to be welcome in your life, and you're going to start attracting those things, those people, those places that just see your worth so strong from the jump. You don't ever have to prove to them. So this could be a year of a lot of rest, a lot of pause. It could be a gentle year. I feel like it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a joyful year. It could be, a year where, like, if you're in college, this is like a highlight year for college, and you look back and you're like, oh my God, there were so many fun parties. We just had such a good time. Or it could be like I said, if you've been single for a while, now you find yourself in a relationship and just so into your partner and going out to eat with them and spending all your time and cuddling with them, and there's so much love. Or having a baby this year and cuddling with the little baby and spending all your time with them. It just feels like this is a beautiful, happy year. It's almost giving me 10 of Cups vibes of just deep emotional fulfillment, feeling so aligned. And I feel like the other thing is that Death card coming into play. And I actually feel like for a lot of you guys, the Death card in your life was set into motion a while ago. And it's almost like you released a lot and then you were like, okay, whatever, I guess maybe that's it. Like, I released this old stuff, but I'm not seeing the new come in, and now the new starts pouring in, and you're like, oh, this is what it was. Because I feel like some of you guys had to cut off certain people, or you had to let go of certain mindsets or paradigms. If you haven't done that already, that could be something you're doing this year. You're starting to see your own worth, and you're starting to realize that life can be easy. Life can be good. Life doesn't have to be a struggle or a fight or pain or suffering or stress. Life can be absolutely amazing and magical and just flow and just be like, as good, like, I feel like a mantra for you guys, maybe something you've been saying to yourself is, show me how good it can get. Like, Spirit, show me how good life can be. Because it's giving me Abraham Hicks vibes, how Abraham Hicks talks a lot about how, just life is about taking the good, going with what feels good, going with what makes you feel happy and aligned and joyful. And I feel like that's something you're really learning, is how to accept the good and how to not push it away or sabotage it, or really realizing and deeply internalizing the fact that you deserve all the good things. You deserve to have a happy, joyful life. And if that's, you want to be in a relationship, then you deserve a relationship. If that's, I want an amazing job that pays better money. If that's, I want to travel. If that's, I want to write a book and have it do really well and be more creative in my job. I feel like you're getting to do all those things, and you're going to be amazed at how easy it is. Let me get into some of these cards for you. Pile number 2. So we want to know about pile 2, how they're leveling up in 2025, what good news they're getting. Field of Dreams. Wow. This one is Bone Collector. So the thing about the Bone Collector card, and it's so interesting that it actually came out right above the Death card, is that card is about processing trauma or processing like past negative events and kind of realizing how we took on certain habits or tendencies. It's kind of like unpacking childhood stuff or unpacking old relationship stuff, and realizing how those things can still affect us, kind of like unearthing something that we buried and then holding it up to the light and examining it. And I feel like that definitely has to do, again, with the Death card. They're saying that they want to kind of give you this pat on the back and say, like, by the way, you earned this. If you ever struggle with feelings of guilt or feelings of like, I didn't really do anything to get this, this and this just fell into my lap. No, that is not the case. I feel like some of you guys had to really leave behind scarcity mindsets. You had to really leave behind certain traumas, certain dysfunctions, do some shadow work, and now you are ready to welcome in these beautiful blessings. And a lot of you guys had to make the choice to leave certain dysfunctional situations behind where people weren't treating you that well. So if you find yourself in an amazing relationship now, when you look back at it, maybe it's because in the past you had someone that treated you badly and you chose to leave it behind. And you chose to be the brave enough person to be like, we've got to break up, even though you didn't want to. Or you are in an amazing job now that just gives you great vacation time and great hours. You were in a job that was dysfunctional and you chose to leave it. And you have made this choice to prioritize yourself. You have made this choice to value yourself. And that's exactly why that is paying off. And with the Bone Collector card, I feel like you had to put up boundaries. You had to make hard choices. You had to be brave. And you really were. And I feel like your guide just want to give you a massive pat on the back for that and just say like, wow, that's absolutely amazing. And we're so proud of you. With the Field of Dreams card, that can show that like literally this is an amazing year for manifesting. This is an amazing year for going after what you want, because you may be very in touch with the astral plane. You may be very in touch with your guides, angels, ancestors, and whatever you want, whatever you're asking for will happen, and your guides will make it happen. With the Field of Dreams card, that can show that like the things you're asking for, like Spirit is listening, Spirit is paying attention and jotting it all down. So this could be an amazing year to make that vision board or to go after certain dreams you've had, certain things you've wanted. This can be that year when you really make it happen, when you do things that you never thought were possible. I feel like this is going to be a year that you look back and you're like, wow. And one thing that I think is I really want to like give kudos is I feel like there were times when you were almost scared of these blessings. Like maybe you were single for a while and it was hard for you to muster up the courage to get back dating. Or maybe you, were kind of had a fear of commitment and you really didn't know if you ever wanted to get married. And now you find yourself getting married this year. Or you had a scarcity mindset with money and you really overcame that to get your current job. But either way, I feel like you've done so much work. And I feel like now you're like stepping into, it's almost like you've broken generational curses or you've broken trauma that was handed down. And you realize now what you deserve. And that's broadening what's even available to you. Let's get into these cards. So what is good news happening for pile number 2 in 2025? So we got movement, okay, and house, cleaning house. So some of you guys could be moving as well. You could be moving into a new house, redecorating your apartment, really loving your living situation. I could see some of you guys really traveling a lot this year, and the movement card definitely can talk about that as well, or moving somewhere else. And it feels like it may be a big move or something you've always wanted, like moving into a dream house, or moving across the world to a city you've always wanted to live in, and being brave enough to take that risk, or becoming a digital nomad and traveling around. And just like being willing to step into this identity that I feel like you've always wanted. There's a part of you that's always wanted, but you were almost afraid to ask, or afraid of taking that on, afraid you couldn't get it. And now it's like, wow, this is here, this is actually happening. I feel like you're so ready to make these really big moves or these really big step forward. Yeah, and that's happening for you. It's like this is a year that is a big step forward. Like whatever happens this year, I feel like it's just monumental in your life. And there's so much power and potential here. There's so much going on. With the cleaning house card, again, this could be putting up more boundaries. Like if someone isn't respecting you, your time, if someone isn't making you happy, adding value, I feel like you're also okay with leaving them behind, leaving them in the past, If someone isn't really exactly what you want, I feel like you're learning to say no to that, or you're willing to reflect on that and act accordingly. I don't feel like you feel desperate for anyone else's time anymore, or you don't feel desperate for I just need someone around me. It's like you're very choosy, you're very picky now. And so that allows you to also have access to better quality. So, like I said, if you've been single, this could be like you meeting someone that isn't just, oh, this person is ending my single streak and they want to be my boyfriend, even though they don't treat me that well. This is someone that's going to like open doors, pull out chairs, treat you amazing. And just, you're going to have this kind of life that's like, wow, I can't believe it. This is a dream, or having a baby and it makes you so, so happy, or getting a job and you just are like, this is exactly what I wanted. This is completely the role I wanted. I feel like for some of you guys, this could even be stepping into the limelight, the spotlight in some way with the Four of Wands. This could be having a major celebration that everyone around you is seeing like, wow, I can't believe this person did that. That's so cool. That's so amazing that they did that. I want to get into these cards as well. So let's see what is happening for pile number 2 in 2025. Currents of emotion, uncontrolled feelings. Okay. Shamanic healer, cleansing, attunement, and thought vibrations, resonant choices, signature signals. So I keep getting this vibe, and I felt it really strongly with the shamanic healer card, that you guys are really breaking generational curses. I know I mentioned that, but it just feels like there are people standing by looking. Sorry, I dropped my microphone. Looking at what you guys have done and being like, oh my God, this is amazing. I didn't even think that was possible. Maybe you come up from a family that's been stuck in poverty for a long time. Or maybe you had like parents that had a really toxic relationship and you just thought, I'm just going to be single for life. Maybe you had some situation that you just felt very stuck in. And maybe the family members around you also felt very stuck. And I feel like you have been so willing to look deeply into your soul, do the shadow work, and really overcome that. And that's going to be happening. It's almost like this year is your payoff year. If you have been doing shadow work, if you have been really working on yourself and cleansing this and unpacking this stuff, I feel like this is the year when it really starts to pay off and you start to see those blessings. I just feel so happy. Like I feel like I could just jump up and down with joy for you guys, because it feels like, wow, this is a long time coming and you earned it. You deserve it, pile number 2. I also feel like, the thing is, people are going to see you as like a leader, as a healer. This is a time when I feel like people are starting to really notice the payoff. Like if you had to leave certain situations behind, and at the time people were like, oh my God, you're crazy. Maybe you left a job that was toxic and you told all your coworkers, you guys deserve better. This is not good. And they all kind of were like, okay. But they thought, I wonder if she's going to get a job. I wonder how she's going to do. Is she going to be able to succeed? Now this is the year when they see you succeeding. They see that success. They see that payoff. Or if you were in a family and you had to cut off some certain toxic family member and everyone else in your family was acting like, I don't know, you're making a mistake. And now they see you thriving with your own family. Or, you had to break up with someone and they told you when you broke up with them, you're going to be single for life. No one's going to put up with this. And now you find that partner that doesn't just put up with you, but is so obsessed with you and does everything you want and is just treating you amazingly. Then I feel like, again, there's going to be people that notice. People are going to see this change. People are going to see that you've unpacked this. You've transformed yourself. You've done the work. You've been willing to dive down so deep and do all this platonic shadow work. And this is, making me think of this ocean on this currents of emotion card, where it's just so, I feel like it was like a stormy ocean, crazy waves, and you dove down into it and just did all the work you needed to do. You were not afraid of the work. You embraced it. And I feel like for that reason, you almost like wiped the slate clean. I'm seeing a dirty, cluttered blackboard and someone is like, erasing everything, and they're writing something new. And I feel like that's what you did. You wrote a new paradigm that's going to be passed down throughout your family lineage now, and it's going to replace the old dysfunction. So I feel like this is just so powerful. And a lot of you guys are realizing your own power, the power of your mind, the power of your thoughts. And it's going to inspire other people. That's the amazing thing. Other people are going to be like, wow, this is so cool that they did this. This is so awesome. Like, and it's going to inspire people. There are maybe family members you had that you didn't realize that they were watching when you made the cutoffs, and they were thinking, oh, I wonder if they'll succeed. And when they see you succeed, it gives them the bravery to ask for more. It gives them the bravery to change generational poverty and realize they can attract more. Sometimes you just need to see that one person doing it, and that makes you realize you can do it as well. And I feel like that's what you have done for other people. You have made them realize how capable they are and how they don't have to tolerate the BS, and they can attract so much more. So like I said, this could be a year of moving into a new house. I feel like there's some major blessing with this Ace of Cups. A new relationship, a new house, a new creative project that launches you into major success, a new baby, because that can definitely be represented with the Ace of Cups, a new marriage, just something that I feel like is so fresh, and it's almost like a payoff. It's almost like a trophy. It's almost like everyone is going to have to notice. You know, it reminds me of probably my favorite Bible verse, which is like, it's from the Lord's Prayer, but it's like, He prepareth me a table in the presence of mine enemies. And I love that phrase, because it's like, He doesn't have to have your enemies there, right? He can just prepare you a feast in a separate room or across the city or whatever, but He wants them there to see that. Spirit wants everyone around to notice, because I feel like you have done something so powerful by changing this energy around you. You have done something so powerful by like rebuking and not tolerating any bad behavior and stepping into so much more power for you. And that's going to let you just achieve your dreams on such a deep level. Let's get into these cards. Let's get some messages for pile number 2. Pile 2, what messages do we have? So we got Star Ancestors, Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom, Look a Little Deeper. Okay. This one is We the Hathors, Deep Love, Mother's Milk, Birth as a Portal. Oh, actually, this is like, I think 3 came out. So let me shuffle again, because I hate when more than 2 cards come out at the same time. Just want one message at a time, Spirit. Forge, don't follow, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. That's what you guys are doing. Oh my God, you're paving a new path. That's such a great way to put it. It's like everyone else was going on a certain path, a certain road, and you just cut a new one, and you're getting in there half the time. I feel like you guys are so far ahead on your destination. You've leveled up so much. It's almost like Spirit is saying you're also ready for this new blessing, because in the past, I feel like maybe you wanted it. Maybe you would have been like, oh yeah, that's cool, but you couldn't have handled it. And like I said, all this shadow work, all this death card and bone collector energy that you've done, you are now ready for the blessings. You have shown to Spirit, to angels, to your guides, that I can handle this. I'm capable of this on a level that you just weren't in the past. It's almost like in the past, you wouldn't have been able to handle this. Even if it was a blessing, you would have still like freaked out and not been able to manage it. And this year, I feel like is the year you're also being tasked with more responsibility, more power. There's so much more of a potency here, so much more strength, so much more energy. And it's almost like the sky is the limit, you know, because now Spirit is like, oh yeah, they've got this. They can handle this. So let's step it up even more. Let's get them even more blessings, you know. I feel like your guides are just saying, we're so proud of you. You know, you even got the Star Ancestors cards. So your ancestors are very strong around you. And some of your ancestors are acknowledging that, yeah, there was a past of this. Maybe they couldn't break the curse. Maybe they couldn't change it. But you have been that change maker. You have been that person that forged a new identity, forged a new path, and welcomed in blessings that other people just couldn't even conceptualize. Yeah, I feel like you are really tapping into your wisdom wisdom, and you're ready to step into a role of leadership. That's coming through for sure. Even this says mother's milk, and I feel like some of you guys are going to become a mother. Not just literally, some of you guys, yeah, literally becoming a mother, but in the way of like how a mother guides the family and everyone looks up to her. So even if you're not literally a mother, it's like, you know, you are taking on these roles that people are looking up to. People are learning from you. People are like, wow, okay, they can do this. And they have so much more respect and reverence for you this year. You know, whether it's at your job, whether it's in your friend group, whether it's in relationships, it's like, wow, I didn't know this was possible. And look at pile number 2 doing it. Like, if they can do it, maybe I can do it, you know? Let's see. Let's get one more message card for you, pile number 2 for 2025. What messages? And this one is, wait, it's not yet time. Things are being woven. I actually feel like that wait is kind of over, to be honest. I feel like that wait has been going on in the past. And like I said, I think if there was a wait or a delay, then it was because you weren't ready for these blessings yet. And so if it did feel like there was a pause or stagnancy, or like I said, you did that death card a while ago and you're like, okay, is it ever going to pay off? Like, I got rid of all these dysfunctional things in my life. When are the blessings going to come in? When am I going to get the payoff? When am I going to start seeing the new things coming in to replace it? I feel like that time is now, and you are ready to finally take on the blessings that in the past you just were not ready for at all. I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is going to be a year that you look back on as propelling you into your new destiny, propelling you into a new life, and allowing you to have things that in the past you didn't even think was possible. And now it's like, oh my gosh, it's all happening for me. It's happening now. And it feels so, so exciting. I am so proud of you, pile 2. This is an amazing, amazing energy and reading around you. So yeah, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that resonates. If it does, please give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment. That really helps the algorithm. And if you want to see more of my content, then head to my Patreon. There are over 100 exclusive readings. And I also post all my YouTube videos early over there, so you get to be the first to watch them on Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your next relationship, as well as one about when you will be achieving success and a year in 2024 in review. If any of those readings sounds good, or you want to be the first to watch, like I said, get posted way early over on Patreon. If you want to be the first to watch my YouTube videos, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description for Patreon. And if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, a combination, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, you will be able to customize your reading, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Ace of Wands, the 8 of Wands, the Wheel, and the 4 of Cups. So there seems like there's definitely going to be some traveling happening for you guys this year. The 8 of Wands can indicate air travel, like on an airplane. And then we have, of course, the Wheel being connected to Jupiter, Sagittarius energy. So that can mean traveling to a new destination. The 9th house rules long distance travel. So some of you guys could be traveling and visiting a place that like really inspires you, or a dream trip, or becoming like a digital nomad that travels around. It could even be a move. I feel like one of the major things is stepping out of your comfort zone and going after what you want and being more bold and unafraid. This could also be a really beautiful relationship, and I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be more of a fun, spicy relationship, maybe like a sexy one. I feel like some of this is about getting your confidence back, or getting your confidence up, or just allowing yourself to like enjoy life, because the Ace of Wands is kind of a hedonistic energy. It's not as like deeply romantic as like the Ace of Cups maybe. It's more like, ooh, let me do this for fun, or let me do this for the plot, or let me just do this out of like sheer excitement and fun, and I just want it, so I'm doing it, you know? And I feel like that's an energy for you where if you have felt like you had to be the good girl or the good guy, or you have felt like, oh, I have to like do everything right or listen to the rules, or I have to play by the rules, that may be going out the window. And I feel like you're also opening up the possibilities in your mind for what you can expect or how you can live or what kind of paradigm you have to fit into. Maybe in the past you worried about like disapproval from others. You know, this is almost an energy around like wearing that bikini. Like maybe in the past you covered up with like a one piece and you'd be insecure about your body, and now you're like, you know what? I'm wearing that string bikini. I love it. Or I'm going to show off like my body a little bit more, or I'm going to go out and have fun, or I'm going to flirt with that guy I have a crush on, you know, and I'm not holding myself back anymore. I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to be overthinking. I'm just going to do it. There's a lot of fire energy here. We have 3 wand cards. We have the Ace of Wands, the 8, and then of course the wheel being connected with Sagittarius, a fire sign. So for a lot of you guys, this is like having that fire energy of just boldness and not really thinking it through, not really, you know, this is to me the energy that characterizes fire, is like there's such a mindlessness to fire. If you think about like actual fires, like the element of fire itself, a lot of times fires can be very destructive because they don't really have any rhyme and reason. They will just burn a whole city down and there's like no point. You know, someone was trying to like, you know, use their oven and then they end up setting their apartment block on fire, and next thing the whole apartment burns down. You know, there's kind of like this recklessness to fire, and that has like so much power and potential. It's not all bad. There's also so much warmth and spark and energy that happens that way. And I feel like for you guys, you know, that's kind of the thing I think a lot of fire signs embrace is like, yeah, there may be some damage. Yeah, this may not work out perfectly. Yeah, it's okay if this doesn't end up in a fairy tale because I don't really care. A lot of fire signs, like if you tell them, oh, but you know, what if you get rejected? They'll be like, okay, and you know, like, okay, so what? They're not even going to think about that, you know? Like it's funny, I have an Aries Venus, and in my friend group, I was always the one who people would be like, hey, will you go up to that guy and ask him to come talk to us? You know, like if there was a guy that one of my friends had a crush on, and you know how a lot of times they'll just send the one member of the group who like doesn't care, and that was always me. They'd always be like, can you go up? And I'd be like, sure. And I'd say, hey, I have a friend over there. She, you know, she's that one. She kind of likes you. Would you want to come like get her a drink or something? Because I didn't care. The guy could say, no, I don't want to, or like, oh, I'm not into her. And I was like, okay, it doesn't bother me. And some of my friends, I talk to them and they'd be like, oh, I'm too scared to go up, or like, I don't know what to say, or oh, I'm nervous. And I'd be like, just do it, you know? And I think that's such a fire energy thing. And I noticed that with so many fire signs. I love being around fire signs because they're always just down. They're not going to stress. They're not going to have anxiety. They're not going to need to overthink it and come up with 18 reasons. They're just like, yeah, let's do it. I want it. Let's go for it. And I feel like that's the energy you're bringing into 2025 with that Ace of Wands. Like you're no longer second guessing yourself. If you've been anxious, if you've been the kind of person that like, oh, I want this, but I don't know if I'm ready. If there's been a big goal or a big dream that you've been putting off, or something that you've wanted for the longest time, but then there was that party that's like, I'm not sure if I can do it. I'm not sure if I have it in me. I'm not sure if I'm powerful enough. What if that goes wrong? What if this happens? This is the year when you stop doing that and you just learn to just go for it and be bold. You know, that's an energy with Sagittarius, where Sagittarius rules the 9th house of long distance travel. So I always think, you know, it's funny because that's also a really spiritual house. The 9th house is also a spiritual house. And it's so funny how those two things are connected, that one of the most spiritual signs is a fire sign, which we don't usually associate that with spirituality. We think of spirituality as very sedate, very like calm, someone meditating in a corner. We don't really think of it as Sagittarius energy, which is really funny, outgoing, bombastic, kind of bold, and just like, I'm going to do it. I feel like it. But that's actually very spiritual. And when you think about it, like the essence of traveling itself it's like it takes such bravery, and there's such wisdom that we gain from like just finding ourselves in a foreign country and we don't speak the language, but we're trusting spirit that like I'll figure this out, you know? Like I can think of, I have some family members that traveled. Like I think there's a lot of Sagittarius in my family. So I've had family members live all over the world. And back in like even the 1800s, I have pictures of ancestors in front of like the pyramids and, you know, traveling to all these different places, traveling through India, riding elephants, that kind of a thing. And I feel like what's so cool about that, especially when you think about old travel, like now it's easier because we're just on a plane, but travel for most of human history is so scary. Like your ship could easily crash. Or you had to, you know, navigate. We didn't have like Google Translate. We didn't have Google Maps. So you're having to figure it out. You're having to eat food from a culture that you probably never heard of. There probably weren't a lot of restaurants from halfway across the world in, you know, in your hometown. So you're trying this food for the first time. And that boldness, again, what that really says is I trust the universe. I believe that you'll take care of me, right? And when you really believe in an energy of abundance, and this is why Sagittarius is able to do this, because they're ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter gives them luck and protection. Then you realize that like, hey, no matter what happens, I'll be okay. I will stand on my own 2 feet. And that's why there's no point in worrying about what could go wrong. Maybe this happens. What if that goes bad? Because you know what? No matter what, you are divinely protected. You will be okay. It will either be a blessing or a lesson, and it's all good. So I feel like that's one thing you're really taking into this year with you is just like, hey, the time is now. There's even a sense of urgency with that Eight of Wands energy. Like you're ready. Like, let's do this. Let's make this happen. I don't want to start thinking about it. I don't want to start worrying about it and going after it. I just want to like, in my mind, I just want to do it. I just want to like make this happen now. And the time for doubt, the time for indecision is over. So I feel like if you guys have a big goal, if you've had a dream, if you've had something you've wanted to launch, that maybe you've been a little afraid of, or a trip you wanted to book, but you're like, I don't know. This is the year when you're going to do it. This is the year when you're not going to second guess yourself. And you could take this energy into your whole life, you know, whether it comes to relationships, whether it comes to career. This is the year when you're going to apply for that promotion, or you're going to apply for a new job, or someone says, well, you can have this job, but you have to move halfway across the country or across the world. And you're going to say, yeah, let's do it. Or that new relationship that maybe you're not fully sure, but you're like, hey, let's dive in and let me experience things. You know, I think that's one of the best energies to be in for just attracting things, is just going for it. And actually, Stephen Forrest talks about this, where, just to make this a really quick little aside, because it's kind of complicated to explain, but he divided the groups of he divided a group of people into the 4 elements. So the water signs, the earth signs, the air signs, and then the fire signs. And he gave them this challenge. Everyone had to fit inside a circle, and the circle maybe only fit 6 people, and there were 8 people in the circle. So he's telling them each like, hey, figure this out, find a way to stack people in this circle. And so the earth signs try to make a pyramid, that falls over. The air signs are just sitting there overthinking, trying to do like the algorithm of like, okay, so if you stand there and what percentage here, and they're trying to do the math. The water signs apparently just got dejected, sat down, and were like, oh, this sucks. Or they may have come up with some really creative idea that definitely didn't work. But anyway, they didn't do much. None of them really succeeded, except the fire signs. And the fire signs just started trying all this random stuff. And then they just spun in a circle with like their arms connected and their feet inside the circle. And that fit the 8 people in the circle. So they won the challenge. And I always think that's such a great example of fire ingenuity, and the way fire signs will just try it. Like they'll just do it. They'll just go for it, you know? And that's such an advantage. I'm more water dominant. So I'm definitely an overthinker, but I find that when I just go for it, like for example, even with this YouTube channel, I always think, I am so grateful that I just started the YouTube channel on a whim and was just like, why not do it? Because the thing is that I'm usually an overthinker in every other area of my life. And I think after a while, I Googled like, hey, what are the chances of making it on YouTube? And the chances were so low. And people were saying like, oh, it's like less than 1%, and most people don't even get, above 100 views or something. And I was like, wow, I'm really glad I never read that. I'm really glad I didn't look into the percentages and the likelihood and the odds, because I know I'm that kind of person that would have internalized, well, if these people failed, I could never do it. The reality is everyone has different strengths, everyone has different flaws, everyone has different things that suit them, and you never really know if you can do it until you try. That's the only way you actually know. That's what the fire signs figured out in that experiment. They just started trying stuff. They just were like, no, we'll try that. Okay, that didn't work. We'll try this. On to the next. Also, fire lives very much in the moment. It's not so much this internal thinking all the time, overthinking, feeling energy. It's more just like, we just did it, now on to the next, And I feel like that's the energy that you're coming into this year with, is just like, let me try, let me do it. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's cool. And taking away the ego from it, taking away the fear of failure, or the like, oh my God, but what if it doesn't work out? That's also going to be major key for you guys. And that's going to help you really achieve your dreams, because I feel like you have some big things on deck that you want to accomplish. And this is the year when you're finally giving yourself to go after it with full force. Let's get into these cards for you. Pile number 3. Okay, so we got come together. And that's interesting because, again, I feel like for some of you guys, this could even be like, we also got Golden Palace. If you guys have had, like, maybe you've been wanting to date, but you constantly are in your mind kind of processing it and going over lists of everything that could go wrong and, overthinking. Like, I think sometimes if I'm doing a private reading and I talk to someone and I'll say, well, are you trying online dating? If someone is really serious and they're like, I want to find my soulmate. I really want it within the next month. I really want to meet someone soon. And I'll be like, okay, so are you online? And they'll be like, no, I would never do online dating, or no, but I don't want to meet someone that way, or no, that. And I always think that, to me, the best energy to go about getting anything is just keeping yourself as open as possible, because you never know what doors are going to open and what doors aren't going to open, right? So it's kind of like if you're going to apply for a job, you want to send out your resume to every company. And I totally get the mentality of like not wanting to meet people with online dating, because of course it can be weird. There's a lot of weird people, but there's also nice people. And that's the thing, is I think sometimes we almost overthink this stuff too much, or someone will say, well, I messaged someone on Tinder, but then I don't know, they weren't really nice, or they ghosted me. And it's like, yeah, and so what? You know what I mean? Who cares? And I don't mean to be rude about that. Maybe that's my Pluto squaring Mercury that's just popping off today. But it's like, and so what if they ghost you, And on to the next. Like, don't even think about them. Don't even worry about them, because that right person for you is never going to ghost you. And so knowing that, you don't have to freak out about if someone treated you badly, if someone was rude to you, if someone said something nasty to you. That doesn't even have any impact on you. Like, that doesn't change your value or anything. And once you realize that, once you really internalize that, you're not going to hold yourself back from these opportunities. You're not going to be so afraid of like failing, or what if I meet someone toxic on online dating, or what if they're lying to me? It's like, yeah, what if they are? But so what? Because life is about experience. That's something Sagittarius understands so much. I mean, when you think about travel, and that's the house they rule, so many things will go wrong with travel. You might lose your bags, you might get scammed, you might be in another country and not know the customs, and you insult someone accidentally and they start a fight with you. I mean, all these things happen all the time when people are traveling, right? But it's still taking the risk. It's still accepting that the benefits outweigh the costs, and that, life is meant to be lived. Life is meant to be lived in the thick of things. That's why the sun is exalted in Aries. The sun is the soul, and it's exalted in Aries, the sign that's kind of reckless and lives in the moment and just does what it wants, right? Because that's how we have the most full life. The more we sit on the sidelines and just overthink and internalize, then the less opportunities we have. And I actually think when you have that energy, that yeah, I've been online dating and maybe I'll meet someone in a bar and maybe I'll meet someone that way, then that energy is also much more chill, much more relaxed. When you're like, oh, I haven't been on a date in 8 years and I'm so nervous and I really hope it goes well, I really want to meet my soulmate, then that's going to be a crazy energy to bring on the date. You're probably going to connect with that person way too soon. You're going to put way too much focus on them. They're going to sense it. They're going to get freaked out, you know? And if you're just chill, like, oh yeah, there's lots of fish in the sea. Hopefully this date goes well. Hopefully you live up to my standards. But if not, it's cool. Then, you know, that's when you have that magnetic energy that's going to bring people in. And so I feel like for you, you are just embracing that energy of not worrying so much and allowing yourself to also experience life. Because to me, there's something about fire, or I mean, I really associate this more with Taurus energy. But I feel like there's something about fire too that also understands like how fleeting life is, how short life is, how special life is. And in the same way, I feel like Tauruses really understand to like eat the food and have the relationships and feel the physical touch and smell the flowers and all those things. Fire signs really understand that as well, that like we're not here forever. And so it's like giving yourself permission to have those relationships, giving yourself permission to be a little indulgent, giving yourself permission to go out and party if that's what you feel like, giving yourself permission to make those memories. And once you get into that energy, it's a very, in my opinion, high vibrational energy of just like allowing yourself to experience anything, allowing yourself to like, yeah, maybe I will get my heart broken and that's okay. Cause you know what? It will heal. And there's infinite abundance in the universe. Or maybe I will, have a crazy experience, or maybe I will have a friend stab me in the back, but you know what? I'm still going to put myself out there. I'm still going to try. And that's why a lot of like young people can be very like there's a power in young people. Like when young people walk into like a nursing home, the residents will feel it, right? Because they have that potent youth energy. They're not as closed off. They're much more open. That's why people will always remember their high school love for the rest of their life, because it's like that's the time when they were the most energetically open, and that opens you up to so much alchemy that allows you to have these amazing experiences. The more closed off you are, the more scared you are, the more you're thinking of all the worst case scenarios, the less possibility there is for this amazing magic happening in your life. Let's get into a couple more cards for this deck. For pile number 3, what is happening for them in 2025? Okay, so we got slow and steady, interesting. And we also got magic stream. I really love the magic stream card because it really, to me, shows also like going along with the currents of life, like accepting where you're at in life, accepting that things in life, sometimes there may even be situations that don't feel 1000% positive, or they're scary, or they're frightening. Like some of the biggest changes I can think of, like I can still remember when my family dropped me off at college, and just like waving goodbye as they drove away in the parking lot and walking back to my room. And I think my roommate was gone a lot, and she wasn't there, and just feeling so alone and being like, oh my God, I'm away in a totally different state. My family's gone. And I was so scared. A part of me wanted to like call my mom up and just say like, can you come back? I don't want to go to college. But, you know, I'm so glad I did. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way with college. And then they look back on that and they're like, oh, it was the best time in my life. But that fear, that feeling of like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect. I'm nervous. I'm scared. It can feel very terrifying to deal with, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not for us. So this could also be a year for you guys where you're embracing the fear. You're not running away from it. You're not feeling like, oh my God, so this means this isn't supposed to happen because I'm nervous. But just understanding that fear or nerves or, you know, any kind of resistance is kind of a normal part in life. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's not for us or that we're supposed to run away. And kind of coming to that place of calm receptivity, like, hey, this is maybe a stage I have to go through. Like I said, You might be in relationships that end in a messy breakup. That doesn't mean you're never supposed to date again. That doesn't mean to hold yourself back. That doesn't mean there's nothing you can gain from that experience. You can travel and be scammed. You can travel and have, the most disgusting food you've ever eaten and get food poisoning because you're in another country and you're not used to the food there. So, there's so many things that can go wrong, but you're probably still glad you went on that trip. Even if it was like an awful trip, you're still probably glad you can tell people, oh, I went there and I saw this, and you probably learned something from it, right? And that's what life is about. It's about experiencing things. And so part of that is just accepting that, yeah, things will go wrong. Things won't always work out perfectly. Things will sometimes seem janky or just not happy. And you know what? That's okay. And we're going to roll with the punches and keep being positive, and we're going to allow life to unfurl in its kind of beautiful, magical way and to surprise us as well. So I feel like that slow and steady card also kind of talks about that, where it's not even like you have to rush yourself into these things. Some of it is just about accepting what life brings us and not pushing it away, not feeling like we have to have control over everything, but allowing life to take us in unexpected directions. Let's get into some message cards for you. Pile number 3. So we got messengers, serious energy, bringing harmony and balance. Okay. And this is the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. And 2 more. The courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. And also, water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. Yeah, I just love this energy for you guys, because I feel like so much of it is just learning to look after yourself, learning to be selfish, and learning that you get one, well, I believe you get more than one. I believe in reincarnation, but you get one spectacular life to live, and you may as well live it with as much fun and as much excitement and as much daring as you possibly can, And the more you keep yourself in the shadows, the more you keep yourself on the sidelines or trying to control everything or afraid, then the less power and possibility you have for these amazing experiences. And I think so much of the time when someone says something like, oh, I don't know, I am trying to meet my soulmate, but I'm not online dating, I don't really go out a lot. And what it comes down to is maybe they have a little bit of fear in their energy field. Maybe deep down they're afraid of getting played, or they're afraid that they're not going to be liked, or they're afraid of rejection. Or if they say, yeah, I really want a new job, but no, I'm not applying for any jobs, I haven't put my resume out, no, I haven't really done anything about that. Then it's like, maybe they're also afraid of rejection, afraid of change, afraid of upending things. And what it really comes down to is, again, that scarcity mindset, that the universe isn't going to provide, that they can't get what they want, that what they want is too much to ask for. And it's really about reframing that mindset to realizing that the universe has so many beautiful opportunities, so many things to experience. And so if one isn't resonating with you super positively, then it's okay to be on to the next. It's okay to choose something new, and it's okay to move forward. You don't have to stay stuck in stagnancy. You don't have to stay stuck in anything that isn't in alignment with you. And I love that the courageous peony card. I feel like for you, this is about being courageous, and this is about really facing, the peony. I guess when I think of a courageous peonies are kind of delicate flowers with really thin petals that are kind of fragile. You could probably crush them. So think of the bravery it takes for them to bloom and blossom and open up to the world. It's probably pretty scary, but I feel like, roses do that, peonies do that, all kinds of sensitive, delicate flowers do that, because the world is a better place when we have those flowers in bloom. And that's the thing, is it also benefits the collective when we're living our life as vibrantly and honestly as possible. Some of this is also unpacking sometimes childhood stuff. Like we may have shame associated from like, well, you shouldn't date around a lot from our parents, or we might have ideas of like, well, I have to stay in this same small town, or people are going to think I'm crazy if I move to this part of the world, or people are going to think I'm crazy if I leave this relationship, or I don't want anyone to judge me, so I'm going to stay in this marriage because I don't want to have to say I'm getting a divorce. And so much of this is about just being willing to face that, just having the courage to live the most authentic life as possible. And I feel like that's one thing you guys are really doing this year. Like, you're really embracing yourself. This could even be being willing to step into the limelight in some way, getting attention on you. Let yourself be seen, as this card says. So not hiding away. If you have felt like, oh, I really want to launch a YouTube, or I want to launch a TikTok, this could be the year when you finally do it. This could be the year when you let someone in intimately and emotionally into your life and let them see you. I feel like you're really needing to unpack any fear paradigms, any fear energy around you, any I'm too afraid to experience this kind of energy, and realizing that nothing in life is a negative experience. It's all a learning opportunity. It's all an opportunity for self-growth, alchemy, alchemization, transformation. It's all good. There's nothing bad about it. So you're leaving behind any energy that kept you in fear, any energy that kept you in scarcity, and you are really stepping into your destiny this year. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it does, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment. That really helps the algorithm. And if you would like to see more of my content, head to my Patreon. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. And then you also get early ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. And then I just posted a reading all about your next relationship. And I'm going to be posting, or it's probably already up by the time you watch this, readings about 2024 in review, as well as when you will be achieving your success or your dream. So if any of those sounds good, or you want to watch my YouTube videos way early, then head to my Patreon, and the link for that is underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you're looking to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading or a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, mediumship, whether you would like it to be pre-recorded or live. You get to really customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. So if that sounds good to you, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and book a time slot with me. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon for another reading. So take care, guys, and I will see you then. Bye.